Hey, what's going on, guys? So today we have the new kit out from the Figure-rise LABO line, and it is Kotori Minami from Love Live. Now, first off, just want to say, not a Love Live fan at all. I have no idea anything about Love Live. I just like this line of kits, and I actually don't even really particularly like this whole style of this outfit and everything of this particular character, who I also just know really nothing about. But the reason I wanted to check out this kit is because I just really like this line in general. I think the other kits that I built from the line, they're just really interesting kits to build, and so I think this one will be as well. I mean, you got these clear parts for the dress, all this kind of decoration going on in the dress, and even like these balloons. So you're gonna make some like plastic balloons and everything. So it's gonna be a really interesting build, and so I think while I may not really like it so much like as it is, I'm looking forward to this just being as like a challenge to myself to kind of get creative with it, see what I can do with it, maybe paint it up in some unique painting style to make it, you know, something that is a little bit more cool, at least for me anyway. But for now, we're just going to go through the unboxing, and then we'll take a look at what the kit looks like when it's all built up. But once again, if you guys are unfamiliar with the Figure-rise LABO line, it's basically sort of like a crossover between like a plastic model kit that you build and like a resin GK kit is sort of like a plastic version of that. So, and it's also kind of like PVC figures, like the different PVC figures that you buy, but it's just one that you can actually build yourself, so it's pretty cool. So the other thing you'll notice about this particular kit is that it's in a much larger box. This is a box that's double the size of the box from the past two releases from the line, so it's a pretty big box here for this one. I guess that's just because it's going to take a lot of parts to make all this extra stuff and everything there. So the front of the box art here, pretty simple, pretty nice though. But I like that about this line. All the box art's usually pretty nice, and just its kind of simplicity of it there. Showing the kit here on the side as well, and then on the opposite side we have a vertical look here at the kit like that. Here at the bottom of the box, just one scan about the Figure-rise LABO line there, and you got another look at what that looks like, and it is coming with a stand here for that as well, part of that. There's a little bit about Kotori Minami there herself. If we go around to the top of the box, we got some more information here about the details of this build. So it looks like for the third kit in the line, their research theme was on the costume, so they put a bunch of development into just the development of the costume here, all the different layers of the clear parts and all this decorative parts and everything like that. So it's got all this information here in Japanese and English. If you want to check that out, it says a fluffy skirt adorned with various technologies and intricate details on the costume, all of that good stuff. So you got some different detail shots there, and then just a main product shot. And then just over here, thought put into the details, and then inherence of a Labo technology there. So it'll have the layered injection like the other kits in the series had, how like for the skin tones they've also got like other tones injected into that, so it'll be like red or pink or something, whatever. So opening this up, even the inner box has some nice kind of design on that. So you have this big bright pink inner box there with the Figure-rise LABO line, and then obviously just a whole bunch of runners here. So gray, it's kind of like a slightly brownish gray color here for her hair color. And then we have the multi-injection parts there for the eyes, the face. Looks like we do have a couple of stickers for this, and just all sorts of different colors of parts in here. So we'll take a look through all of the runners here in a moment. First, let's just take a look here at the manual. The manual looks pretty much the same as the manual of the other kits, so even though it's a larger box and seemingly a much more complicated build, in this case the manual is still relatively simple. It's just this fold-out sheet here like this. So you have a couple pictures there at the top, and then I think here on the back here is our parts list there, and it's all in color, and then just some basic instructions. They're also in color. Then just as you fold it out, you go through the construction there, building the head and the hair and the torso, the body, the arms, the balloons. And then we also have our color guide there at the bottom as well. It's all in Japanese and in English there for the colors. Going around to the back side then is still in color, but it's just all monotone color here, finishing up all the details of the skirt. So you have a bunch of stuff here sticking on there. All of that, finishing up the legs, and then getting the legs onto the base finally once we finish up all of the skirt parts, and then that's going to be it. So alright, a lot of stuff to go through here. Let's get through the runners. Alright, so for the sticker sheet here, it looks like basically there's a few parts of pink and white lining. And for the base here, it is BA14. So this is just a generic base that we've seen come out with different kits in the past, and that's a little bit disappointing because the Figure-rise LABO Miku and the Fumina kits both had their own custom bases, and so it's a little bit disappointing this one just has this just generic plain flat white base. Now I get that like the focus was more on the actual costume and like all the decoration on this kit, but it's a bit of a shame that it didn't come with a better base. Alright, so for the A runner here, you can see that layered injection. We got the main skin tone color, and then we got the pink in there for her cheeks, some black in there around the eyes, and then some brown in there for her eyebrows. And then similarly here with runner B, you have white, clear brown, like a clear black all going in there for this, and the eyes look really, really cool. Just want to make sure that you guys can see that really up close. The depth that you can see in the eyes, again, it's just something that you can only really see if you're looking at it really up close. In person, it's kind of hard to show on camera, but the depth you can see through the clear parts of the eyes is really nice. Now what we're going to see here is in 4 different colors. Down there at the bottom, we got a couple of nice parts there in a really interesting shade of injected gold. Over on the side, a couple of parts there in white. Through the middle, obviously, a bunch of parts there in pink. And then at the top, a couple of parts there in a slightly different shade of like peachish color pink there for it looks like inside the mouth, and then another little heart detail. Runner D here, obviously the parts for the hair, and there's a bunch of different parts here that are going to be going in to create the hair, and it's all once again in this kind of brownish gray color. Runner E1 as well, also really interesting here, parts for underneath the skirt I think, and it's in this really cool clear plastic, and it's got this iridescent sheen to it, so probably will end up not painting these just because it's so cool how these parts actually are just straight out of the box. I'm not sure if that's the actual injected plastic or if it's something sprayed on the plastic that gives it that iridescence, but these look really, really nice. Runner F here going to be our skin tone parts, so a few different parts around there that are in skin tone. Runner G is some more clear parts for around the skirt and in a few different places, but this time it's in a sparkly clear, so you can see all the sparkles injected into the clear there, and also it does look pretty nice on there, so I think once this is all actually put together, these are going to look pretty cool. Runner H in this nice teal color for like the main part of the skirts, and I guess like the dress and those bow parts. The injection, like the molding on those ribbon parts is pretty interesting. You can see how those are molded. It's actually really interesting how those are made. Runner I1 is a few parts here in this kind of light baby blue color, and then we do also have runner I2 as well, which is a copy of this section up here. Runner J is some more parts here in white, some different flower decorative parts, pants, and parts for leggings as well. Runner K1 in this kind of off-white cream color is for some decorative parts, also runner K2 as well up there. And then lastly, runner L in this light lavender color for a few more of those parts here. So even if you don't count these parts for the eyes and the face, just all the other runners, you've got 12 different colors in there. So it's going to be a really cool kit, just straight out of the box. I think it's going to look really nice when it's built up. Like I said, I do still plan on probably painting this, at least most of it, but really impressed with this so far. So I'm going to get this built up and then we'll see how it looks. Alright, when she's all put together, here is how the model is going to look, and I gotta say, I am really glad that I didn't skip out on this kit, even though it was a design that I was not really into. I'm not really into this whole kind of like fancy costume idol design thing, but I'm really glad that I took the time to check this kit out, because I was just, like I said, I'm a fan of the line in general. The first 2 kits that came out on the line were just cool builds, and this was a really, really interesting build. Just the way that everything like goes together, the way that they engineered the clothing and all the details and everything, all the different colors and like the different color clear plastic, the sparkly clear and that iridescent clear out the back and everything, and like the way the balloons work and this like it's a little bit softer plastic for like the lines coming down from the balloons, and just how everything goes together to make this as just a model kit is pretty amazing. And so it was a really interesting build, and definitely one that I'm going to highly recommend for any of you guys who are in the same boat. If you're looking for something like really unique and interesting to build, this is definitely it. Now, whether you're a fan of Love Live or this type of like anime character or not, I don't know, probably, you know, some of you may be, some of you may not be, but like again, even for me, like I mentioned before, I'm not really into the character, but I think I'm actually looking forward to taking the time to painting this kit up. Now I have some ideas, but I'm still gonna think about it some more, how I might want to ultimately go about painting this. And obviously there's no articulation, but I just want to go over some of the finer points of this build here up close with you guys, just to show you some of the other details about this. Now, once again, I'll just point out the base. I'm just kind of disappointed that the base is kind of boring in compared to the other kits in the line so far. But basically, just we have this plain piece, and that clear piece just plugs down into that. Now, starting here at the legs, about half the stickers for the kit are going here for this pink striping bits, these pink ribbon bits here on the leg, and they fit on there alright, and they're relatively convincing. As you can see, that like compared to this actual plastic piece, the color doesn't exactly match. The actual plastic piece is a little bit brighter in color, or the stickers are just a little bit duller, they're wrapped around, but from a distance they look alright enough, they look convincing on there. The other half of the stickers are these white bits which will wrap around here on these braids, and they're meant to kind of form around to the detail. The detail underneath there is like a round like ball shape, but the stickers wrap around there. They don't really conform, so they end up just looking like these like white kind of tube-shaped bits, which doesn't look bad. And if you look on the actual promo images, it's actually exactly the same there, even on the sample build here for the actual manual and everything. They couldn't get the stickers to fit in there right either, but so it's just one small thing that they don't really look, or they don't really fit exactly how they're supposed to. They don't necessarily look bad, but that was kind of disappointing or just like irritating trying to get those on there in a way that looks better, but just that's kind of the best that you can do. But as you can see, just all the pieces of hair go together pretty well, so you don't really have necessarily any seam lines really on the hair, except for this part here where you can see the noticeable seam line on there, but it's not really that bad. I think especially if you're going to be painting this up, that would probably kind of get lost and just kind of look like a natural just like line between hair as usual. Now as for the balloons, while we're here, they actually plug together, so the two balloons are connected together by a connection point there, and then they're also connected to the hand here, and also connected to this hairband here, so they're connected here, and then this plastic here, this white part, is like just like a soft plastic part that comes down from the balloon and then plugs into the hand, and then you have another part that just kind of sticks out the bottom of the hand there. These clear parts here on the arm are made up of a few different parts. It's actually 3 parts each on those parts there for the arm, but again, the way that those fit together, it hides the seam line of them pretty well, especially just because they're this sparkly clear. So you're not really going to see the seam line in there very much, but there's a little bit of a seam there and a little bit of a seam there. They actually go together in a like different way, but you're not really going to see the seam in those very well, and that's nice. And then just here on the chest, just all this nice floral detail there on the clothing piece there, just a lot of really fine detail there. Again, the eyes look really nice, and the detail just on the gold part there for the crown, so just a lot of really nice detail there. And it's not really going to be very noticeable, but you can see the color of the face and the color of the neck and the rest of the skin tone doesn't quite match either, so you've got a little bit of a line there between the two skin tone colors that doesn't really match. Again, not really going to be something noticeable when you're just looking at it from the front, but if you're looking at it like at this right angle, you can see that difference in skin tone is a little bit unsightly. The last thing here, I just want to take this apart, just kind of show you how the sections fit together. So you have this whole top half of the body like that, and this whole section of the dress all goes together like that. Then you have these clear parts, which are basically just kind of resting there. And then I just wanted to show this part to you as well, just because of the details here, which ultimately just kind of get hidden by the dress, but you have tons of this like ruffle and floral detail here around on these sections as well. This separate piece there that goes for like this strap on the front and the back. These two pieces here that make this garter belt with a little cutout section there for the heart shape. So you have a lot of really just nice detail here molded into the parts plastic. That is just kind of going to be lost once you put these parts back on and just cover that up, but still it's nice to know that that's there, and just these parts fit together very nice and simply as well, so that's just a nice bit of construction for that. So it all goes together very nice and simply and easily as well. So I don't know for sure if Bandai brought on like designers who have experience working on like designing resin GK kits, but it seems like that definitely, like, or at least they studied or consulted with people who have experience building like resin GK models as well, because just the way that the parts fit together, it definitely seems like there was some inspiration from that. And the other thing I'm happy to report is that this is back to the larger size that we saw with the first release of Fumina, where it's probably, I would say, around 1/6 scale. With the second release there with Miku, we saw the size drop off, and that was a little bit disappointing that it was kind of much smaller in scale. But fortunately in this case, it's back up to that larger scale, and it's definitely a really nice size. Just to give you another comparison, here's a 1/44 scale HD Gundam kit, and as you can see, these figures are going to be standing very tall compared to your HD Gunpla. So all in all, guys, I'll just wrap up the review by once again saying that I highly recommend this kit to any of you guys if you're in the least interested in it. It's pretty expensive, I'll give you that, but I think it's much cheaper than if you were to get something like, again, just like a straight up PVC figure, something that you can actually build, something you just buy and just put up on the shelf. This is something that is really nice. You can actually have the fun of actually building this, and it's a really fun build, and then you can put it up on your shelf and do whatever you want to do with, paint it or whatever. So there's a lot more, I think, enjoyment that I think you can get out of this than just buying a straight up figure. So that's what I think is great about this particular line of kits, the Figure-rise LABO line. So hopefully Bandai will continue the line. Looking forward to more releases in the future. But yeah, definitely check this kit out. It's one that a lot of people are maybe going to pass up just because they're not into the whole idol thing like me, like I was. But I would say, you know, just if you find it for a good price, if you're interested, just give it a try. But that said, guys, if you do have any other further questions or comments about the kit, of course, feel free to leave those down below. Ask away. I'll answer those questions for you, and maybe let me know in the comments too what characters you would like to see out in the future from the Figure-rise LABO line, whether they be other Love Live characters or other Gundam characters or anything else. We had Miku too as well, so just kind of anything that you guys might think would be cool for the line. Leave a comment there down below and let me know what you think. And just thanks for watching. Again, thank you to USA Gundam Store for their support. Check out the link down below to their site. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!